That's again why I update these videos, so that there's a good version of it online for you guys to access. Okay, guys, quiet please. Close that up, please. Close it enough that you can still charge, but okay. So the equation y equals mx plus b, we've used that this whole last chapter. Where again, we're using it again. We're just going to use some different types of problems involving this. So in this case, what do all these different letters stand for? Y equals mx plus b. Tell me what they stand for. Yeah, Simon?
The mx is the slope.
So I'm going to take half of that. So the m is the slope. The x technically is not. We'll talk about that in a second. So the m part of that is the slope. So in y equals mx plus b. What else do we have? Yeah. B is our y-intercept. And so that's still this chapter. Obviously, like throughout math, that's not going to change. Your head needs to be up, please. So the other part of this, and so again, that'll be used throughout this whole, like your math career. They don't change that on you. But then the x and y is the part that kind of gets a little bit confusing. Anyone want to explain what x and y are? If I write it this way, what do those look like on our graph? Yeah. Yeah, it's y-axis. Yeah, I think I heard it.
Coordinates.
Yes, they're like the coordinate points. They're all our different points on the line. Wasn't that you that said it?
No, it was me.
Oh, it was you. Oh, okay.
Good job.
Thought it was you. That's what I. Okay. All right. No, guys, stop, please. So our x and y's are all the different points on our line, and there's an infinite number of points that fall on our line. So when we draw these dots, and I want you guys to draw a bunch of dots, the reason I want you to draw a bunch is to show that they just keep going. Now you could keep drawing that graph forever. We obviously don't because we, need to move on. So there's an infinite number of points. Guys. So we're going to talk about those today. Now the M and B are needed for graphing. So we use these for graphing. And again, we're going to use this equation throughout this whole chapter. Right, really, your head has to be out. Yeah, it does. Thanks for letting me know.
Oh, it's really nice. Now that I sharpened it up, I changed sides though. Wait a minute.
Okay, guys. So, all right, guys. So for this equation here, when we have this, we need to figure out what the m and b are. So we need to know what the slope and the y-intercept is. So we need to know m and b. And again, that's our slope and our y-intercept. Guys, I need you to stop talking, please. So we need to know m and b, which is our slope and our y-intercept. And we're going to leave the x and y as variables. In the final equation. So I'd like you guys to take a minute to look at this first example. It's actually very easy if you look at what they've given you and how to write the equation. So I want you guys to take a minute to look at the first example, example 1 there, and see if you guys can write that equation based off the information they give you. And it's a lot easier, I think, than you realize. So I'll give you guys a minute to try that.
You started your sister.
No. Yeah, you're doing it.
Okay. So guys, so looking at this first example, like I said, it's not meant to be a very tough question, but since you've never done it before, it's totally understandable if you don't know what I'm asking you guys to do. It says write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. So that's that y equals mx plus b. That has a slope of 2/3 and the y-intercept of -7. So what have they just told us in this problem? What have they told you?
Pretty much change the y equals mx plus b to b equals this in the equation.
Yeah, so they're telling you just to change that equation using these numbers. So what does the 2/3 stand for?
It would be
That's our m. And then the -7 would be our b. So all we get to do with this equation is literally just take those values and substitute them in. So if you're like, oh, gosh, this is gonna be really, really tough, it's not. You're just really just like replacing those two values with what we know they have to be. Now plus a -7 you can write, or you can just write -7. Either one is fine with me. But literally that's all we're doing in this case is just substituting those values in. Now I hate saying something super easy if you're like, yikes, that just went over my head. We'll do a few more and make sure you got it. But again, this is not meant to be super difficult. So hopefully you realize we're just substituting those values in, replacing them. Okay? So our next one here, it says write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form has slope of 1 and a y-intercept of 0. This goes back to, this is probably the most basic of linear equations we can write, where the slope is 1 and the y-intercept is 0. Kind of as basic as we can get. We actually called this the parent graph a few sections ago. We talked about the parent graph being very basic. So again, here's our slope. So that's our m. Our y-intercept is 0, which is our b. So we should be able to write that equation. I'll just have you tell me, because with all these chords up here, it's a little bit. What is your equation?
I got y equals 1x plus 0.
Okay. So you can write it this way. Guys. So it starts at the origin, starts at 0, yep. Is there any other way we can write that same equation? Yeah, how'd you write it?
I wrote y equals x.
So this is as basic as we can write it, but that means exactly the same thing as what Darius said. Anyone have something different? Y equals 1x.
Y equals x plus 0.
Y equals x plus 0. All these different versions are fine.
Y equals 0%.
Yeah. I was the other one I was going to say is you can call it like 1 over 1. But yeah, 0 plus x. It might be it then. I don't know if we can come up with anything else. Unless you put y on the wrong side. But anyway, so all of these different versions are fine. I'd probably start, really any of them are perfectly fine. So just understanding that's all they're asking us to do. Okay? So, guys, obviously we can't stop our lesson there, like it can't just be that for the whole day. But we will do some more problems like that. We're gonna move on to where they give us a little less information. So, well, maybe they give us more information, but less that we need for this equation. So again, your phone needs to be put away, otherwise I'm taking it. So like completely put away, please. Okay. Well, if your phone's hiding, then I'm talking to you. Okay. Okay. So guys, so this next problem. So in this next problem, remember for this, guys, can you focus please? For this, remember we need to know what M and B are. Now in this problem, what have they told us? Here's what they tell us.
Pretty much that it goes through 4, 3, and has a slope of 1/2.
So what letters in y equals mx plus b have they given us?
They've only given us
They've given us m. So here's m.
and
They have given us something else as well. They haven't given us b. Remember, b is the y-intercept. But when they give us a coordinate point, what have they given us? X and y together. So they've given us x and y together. We need to figure out what b is. So we need to find b. So what we're going to do here is we're going to solve this equation to find our b. So again, this is where this gets a little bit trickier. We'll do a little bit more practice with this once we've done a couple of examples. But so this is similar to what we did on the front side, except now they're not giving us b, but they're giving us x, y, and m. So I'm going to put all of those into this equation and leave b as a variable. So what's our y?
3.
Our y is 3. Do you see that right here? It's 3. Our m is what?
1/2.
1/2. That's being multiplied to our x because they're stuck together. What's our x? 4. And then I don't know what b is, so I left b as a variable. So I put in everything that I know. The good news is taking half of 4 is pretty easy to do. What's half of 4? 2. Okay. So I did that math, and then I'm left with a very simple equation. Y or 3 equals 2 plus b. So to figure out what b is, what am I going to do?
Subtract 2.
Subtract 2.
B equals 1.
So we're going to find out 3 minus 2 is our b, which is 1. So we're going to find out our b is 1. Now again, this problem becomes like one like the front side now. So I need to find b. I found b. Now that I have b, I'm going to take, guys, I need you to focus, please. Face just this way. Stop facing them. So we're going to take m and b and put that in the equation. So y equals our m is 1/2, x, and then plus b, so plus 1. So this is our final answer where I put m and b back in.
So you don't write it
What's that?
so you don't add
The x and y in.
like this.
Yeah, so he was asking about why doesn't he put all these values in? Let me just show you guys real quick.
We already used them. We couldn't use them again.
Well, we use the slope too though. The issue with this, you guys, I really need you guys to focus, please. Whatever is funny right now, you guys need to be focused. I'll wait. So the reason we don't leave it this way is because the x and y are infinite. There's many, many x's and y's in our problem. And so we want to write a general equation that we could graph the line. If I use those specific points, then I only have that point. So I don't want to write it this way. We want to leave the x and y as variables. And that's just because we want the equation that we would then graph. So I'd be able to graph this equation, start at 1, and then do our slope.
Oh,
Okay?
so that means that every time we get that, we always make sure it's only
Yeah. Yep. Guys, I really need you guys to refocus. All right, so our next one, similar question, then we're going to pause to do some practice whiteboards on this. Make sure it's going okay. So our next one, similar question. They give me my slopes. They give me M. They give me a point. So that's my X and Y again. And again, I need to find my B. So I have to do some algebra to find B. So my Y here is 0. Putting the 0. My M is -3. Times my X is 2. Plus B. Yep, so I multiply -3 and 2 together. And I get a -6. But again, I want to solve for B. So we're going to move this 6 over. So 0 and 6 is just going to be 6. That's our B. And then we take our slope and our y-intercept. So we write that again with the x and y as variables because that's our general equation. So this works for all the points on the line, not just one specific point. Okay? So we're going to do some practice with this. So I'm going to have you guys grab whiteboards, markers, erasers. I'll have this side of the room go first. Just be careful if you're walking up here. I have cords up here. Yep.